minister friend of mine posted recently that he'd been facing false accusations. He's a lovely guy. He didn't seem to be, as we say, in pieces, but he did sound clearly hurt. Fake news and false testimony seems to be able to accelerate really rapidly and extremely widely in our online world. BBC Ideas actually recently created a short video about it, and there's a link to that in the blog. A number of good people responded quickly and supportively to my friend's post, and I hope that helped. But that sort of solidarity isn't always forthcoming. And David, the psalmist who wrote our verse for the day today, certainly seems to have lacked it. How do you handle a situation like that, David? Well, he seems to be giving himself some advice in this psalm to strengthen his own faith. He's got exactly that sort of situation in Psalm 27. He's preaching the best sort of sermon of all here, the sort that you preach to yourself. And here's how it ends. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. That's Psalm 27, verse 14. How can you possibly say that, David? Wait for the Lord when people are saying all manner of things about you? Well, we live in a world of many words. Words are waves of energy in clear air, which in fact quickly lose their energy and dissipate. You sometimes just need to wait. Of course, there can be reputational damage. That can last a bit longer. But again, you often simply need to wait for the energy in that to dissipate too. Confident of the gospel's deepest truths and that our critics know so much less about us than our Lord, who delights to pardon us by his grace, whatever we are. What comfort there is in the fact that it is he who will have the last word. But it certainly does take it out of you sometimes to have to wait. How do you manage to just wait? David is not simply telling himself to wait. He's telling himself to wait for, or better, to wait on, the Lord. It's the special covenant-evoking name for God that David uses here, calling on the covenant promises of the God who'd been so great a deliverer in his nation's history. And the self-exhortation to wait on the Lord is repeated, but separated by the words, be strong and take heart. The very famous words the Lord promised to Joshua while commissioning him to lead God's people across the Jordan and into the promised land, where David was now enjoying the fruits of that bravery and taking of heart, because he was now Israel's king. Be strong and be brave. You must lead these people in the conquest of the land that I solemnly promised their ancestors I'd hand over to them, God had said to Joshua in Joshua 1:6. Well, here's the point. If we are believers, we deal with a God who's faithful to his promises to his people and who's been faithful to them across biblical time. But the words of those who accuse us falsely, although those words might run fast and wide for the short term, if untrue, are pitifully short-lived. The words of our malicious critics may hurt us, but his is the responsibility to safeguard his faithful ones, and his word to his people, his word about his people, is the word that both matters and lasts. And that's how it comes about that when facing such things, God's people can realistically be strong and be brave. Here's the takeaway. It's natural to be hurt by false accusations and by people who seek to give us a bad name. But God knows all the worst things that there are about us. And yet his covenant of grace to us won't be broken. So we can afford to wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord.